Hi guys, Dr. Kristie Ennis, physical therapist, personal trainer, and nutritionist. And today I am going to talk to you about some diet and exercise ways to stop your incontinence naturally at home. So the first thing we're going to talk about is diet. And actually that plays a huge role in what goes on in the bladder. So number one thing that I see as a women's health specialist is people not drinking enough water. Now that sounds kind of crazy, right? Because you drink a lot of water, more. But that's not necessarily the case. If you do not drink enough, your bladder actually starts to shrink. And then it takes less and less for you to have to pee. The second thing that happens is that everything gets concentrated, all the toxins, all that yucky stuff that gets built up gets concentrated in that bladder, and then it stimulates that bladder to have to pee. So you have more and more problems and have more urgency to go to the bathroom. So number one, make sure that you are drinking enough for your body. Now the guideline right now is to divide your body weight in half, and that's the number of ounces of fluid, not just water, but all fluid that you should be consuming in a day. And that includes your fruit intake and smoothies and coffee, thank goodness for coffee. But that actually brings me to number two. The number two irritant on the bladder is caffeine. Now, some people can handle some caffeine and it doesn't affect their bladder very much, but some people can only have 1 cup of coffee and they're having to run to the bathroom or they can't hold that urine in. So coffee, decaf sometimes still affects people as well because there is some caffeine in it. That takes a little bit of experimenting. Most people that I see can usually tolerate 1 to 2 cups of coffee okay without it affecting them too much. But pay attention that if you are drinking coffee in the morning, let's say, make sure that you're around a bathroom to make sure that you know exactly what's going on with that bladder relating to that coffee. Number 3 is alcohol. And believe it or not, it's more beer and wine than it is hard alcohol. So go ahead and have your gin and tonic, but try to stay away from the beer and wine. Again, it's one of those things that you might be able to handle a glass of wine just fine, but if you have 2 or you have 3, you're having to run to the bathroom and sometimes not making it to the bathroom. So number 4 is actually citrus, so acidic kind of things. Tomatoes, oranges, grapefruit. Again, does it mean that you have to stop eating oranges if you love oranges? No. But be aware of how much you are eating or drinking of those things because that, again, will affect that bladder. The last one is actually spicy foods. And again, same idea. Usually you can tolerate a little bit of spicy foods and be okay, but too much will send you to the bathroom. So those are some things that people don't necessarily think about when they think about helping their bladder out, but really keep those in mind. So those are some easy, hopefully, dietary changes and fixes to work on. The next thing to think about is the exercise component. And one of the words that gets thrown around is a Kegel, which you may have heard that term before. So what that really means is strengthening the pelvic floor muscles. Now the pelvic floor muscles, you can't see them, they're inside, but they are a sling that forms from front to back, and they really close all of those openings. So look at like a garden hose. If you squeeze a garden hose, there's no water coming out. You let go of that garden hose, gush goes the water. Same thing with that bladder, right? So if those muscles are strong, they're going to help support all of those openings and prevent some of that leakage. So when you want to do a Kegel correctly, I actually am doing one right now, and you hopefully can't tell. Really, you want to think about pulling up and in on those muscles. So where I see people go wrong is they start to squeeze their butt, they hold the breath, or they push it down with their abs, or really squeeze in on their legs. Those are not the muscles that you want to try to be activating. So again, it's just that little pull up and in, tiny little motion while breathing. You want to hold it between 5 to 10 seconds if you can. Some people don't have the strength to be able to do that. And if that's the case, you just start wherever you're at. Usually about 10 repetitions and 3 to 4 times a day to start. So those are both some exercise and some dietary ways to help work on that bladder leakage at home. Now granted, There are some other things that may need to be done, but this is a really great, easy way to start. And very often, I see these techniques make a huge difference for people. So if you liked this video and found it helpful, click that like button, subscribe to my channel for more information, and leave any comments that you have below. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more.